Good evening, everyone, and welcome to BBC Radio Broadcast. I'm Marissa Amichetti, and today we'll be continuing coverage on the accident in the small town of Flixborough, England. 11 days ago, on Saturday, June 1st, Nipro, a nylon manufacturing company, went up in flames. The fire, which raged on for 10 days, has now officially been put out. It has been reported that 28 workers have been killed from the explosion, and another 36 workers have been reported injured. The fire, which completely destroyed the chemical plant, spread into the surrounding communities, injuring 53 civilians and damaging 1,800 houses and 167 businesses. Worker casualties would have been much greater had this accident occurred on a weekday. We are now going over to Eric, who is live on site of the disaster.
Thanks, Marissa. I'm right outside the site where the Nipro facility used to be. The buildings that once made up this plant are now crumbled messes, and the ground is completely scorched. On March 27th, Kraken was discovered on Reactor 5, and the plant was shut down for further investigation of the tank. This investigation revealed a serious problem which led to the removal of Reactor 5 from the line. This line of 6 reactors is where the oxidation of cyclohexane occurred. In order to continue production during the repair of Reactor 5, a bypass connecting reactors 4 and 6 was installed. The original reactors were connected by 28-inch diameter lines, but only 20-inch diameter piping was available for the bypass, and a dogleg or angle in the piping was necessary. This caused a force imbalance that released a large cyclohexane vapor cloud, which was subsequently ignited by an unknown source less than a minute later. I'm now here with Dr. Colin Farrell, a safety expert, who will now explain preventative measures that could have been taken.
Thanks, Eric. So as you've all been told so far, this is one of the worst chemical factory disasters to ever happen, and it could have all been easily prevented. The disaster mostly arose due to the negligence of the engineers on the plant who made the fix for the process when the 5th reactor was removed. Unfortunately, most of the engineers within the plant were chemical and electrical engineers and not actually qualified to assess the stability of the dogleg installed, and should have instead been under the supervision of a mechanical engineer who is more fit for a situation such as this one. Along with this, there is no full assessment of the redesign or the potential consequences of it. Limited calculations were performed to ensure the 20-inch pipe could withstand normal working conditions. However, no consideration was given to the bending moments or hydraulic thrusts that would be imposed on the assembly due to its dogleg configuration. On top of this, no design drawing was made except for a chalk sketch on the floor of the maintenance shop. Overall, these mistakes were most likely made because of the urgency to resume production distracted the employees from critical consideration of the plan that could have identified these hazards and prevented the accident.
Thanks, Colin. I'm now here with Evan Hale, a resident of Flixborough whose house was destroyed in the fire. Evan, what was it like experiencing this disaster firsthand?
It was extremely terrifying. I've never seen a fire that large before. The fact that it took 10 days to put out was very alarming and speaks to just how significant of a mistake was made at that plant.
Were you at home when the explosion and fire first started?
Thankfully, I was not home when it first started, so I wasn't harmed at all. A lot of my neighbors who were home were injured due to the accident. I have been staying at a nearby inn ever since the fire started, since it was not safe to return to my home.
I'm assuming your house took some damages?
Yes, mine and a lot of houses in my neighborhood have incurred significant damages.
Did you ever expect something like this to happen in your community, with a chemical plant being located so nearby?
I never felt uncomfortable at living near a chemical plant before. I always had the impression that the facility operated safely, and I was confident that even though there were mass amounts of hazardous chemicals being stored, that the facility had everything under control. I have now lost confidence in the chemical industry's ability to store hazardous chemicals safely. I hope that this will be a lesson to future engineers that safety is of the utmost importance and should be their priority.
As we all do. Thank you for your time, Evan. Marissa, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Coverage of this tragedy will continue as we learn more.